Heartfelt greetings, my dearest beloved friends. Today is our last video from the Black Magic Exposed series. We're going to take a break with our English language videos until the beginning of December. We'll continue our videos tentatively from the second Sunday of December. We will keep our Institute of the Physical Mastery going. Stay tuned. I'd like to thank you for all your questions and comments, which I received from some of you. And they pointed us at some of the very important areas of our ongoing discussion. We are going to offer you some practical solutions, especially answering one of the questions, how to keep ourselves away from all of those dark forces of influence, how to protect ourselves. Can I be sure that we can be 100% untouched by all of that? There was never our goal to offer detailed, in-depth research of the black magic in its totality and in all variety of its kinds and operations, because we really don't need that. It's even not recommended. We don't want to empower black magic by our too much focused attention. Our goal is to be sure that we know how to live a life which is totally black magic free. It's very important. First of all, we completely realize that the most important requirement for that is to know that there is no such thing as a higher power or a higher spiritual authority over you. A religious God, or an etheric spiritual ascended master, or a physical guru, and the like. Only you are your own highest power and authority in your reality. There's a lot of people on earth, perhaps majority of them, that don't know that. And the primary reason of people suffering is a lack of knowledge. If you are aware that you are the highest authority for yourself, you would never look for external so-called spiritual guidance. Self-guidance that was taught by Almine at Ohio seminar in 2019 means that only you are your own leader and only you're your own guide. But unfortunately, there are some systems in the world where people follow their gurus daily and even hourly guidance. Some dark operators that call themselves gurus are definitely experienced in hypnosis and neurolinguistic programming techniques, NLP, and use them to exploit their followers' energy and material resources, which are also the same life force but in external form, which Almin calls a crystallized form. We would strongly prefer that your money would stay yours and to be used only by you for yourself, for your self-sustenance, for your self-empowerment. Whatever is yours must always be yours and yours only. Although, thank you all our partners that are willing to participate financially in our work by purchasing our products and events. But it's not and will never be a necessary condition for our ongoing friendship and networking. And it's always based on equal exchange. You make all your financial decisions only according to your inner knowing, your personal inner conviction. And only you know what you need and what you don't need. Your financial resources are an integral part of your own self. According to Almin, it's your life force in a crystallized form. We never give away our life force randomly and under pressure of some external manipulative influence. And if you use your finances, you always know the reason why you use them and what tangible, measurable exchange is to be expected. Well, again, we're talking about money. We spoke about it in more details in our video, Money and Black Magic. But we still receive questions about that. And we want to make sure that you now have complete clarity in this area. Money issue is one of the top priority black magic related issue. If you ever visited black magic practitioners' websites, perhaps you could notice that their services are extremely expensive. For obvious reason. They want people's life force. and not some of it, but all of it. If someone works with a black magic practitioner on a continual basis, then total destruction of life is inevitable, both for black magicians and their returning customers. Well, you may ask if it's really that serious. Perhaps I would prefer to call it exaggeration, but I can't. A bitter truth is always better than sweet lies. Many black practitioners display enormous supernatural activities. That's true. Some of them display extraordinary levitations, telekinesis, shape shifting, and many things like that. But the truth of the matter is that it's not their power. Black magic operators really have no authority and no power at all. They gave it away to multi-billion years old spirit realms. And we don't underestimate their possibilities. In some sets of circumstances, any person can be literally destroyed by them in a nanosecond. But in other sets of circumstances, those dark spirit realms, as powerful as they are, can experience a total powerlessness, a total power outage in the presence of a true master that walks in the absolute knowledge of his or her absolute power and authority. If you know that you are the highest power and authority over your own life, and you walk in the light of this knowledge 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, then I'm talking about you. It's you who render them powerless in your personal space, wherever you are, wherever you live, wherever you go, everywhere, wherever you are. As powerful as they are, they're completely powerless in the presence of someone who knows that he or she is the most ultimate and the highest power and authority over his or her own life. And there is no power higher and greater than you. So, answering the question how to protect yourself from the influence of black magic, this is the most important answer. Always remember that you are the highest power and authority over your own life. Hence, you never submit yourself to anyone's will, and you never obey anyone's so-called spiritual guidance. We may listen to others, we communicate, and we can benefit from that as we use information that resonates with us, and we forget about everything that doesn't resonate with us. And it's including Team Almin Russia's videos, of course. If we would hypothetically claim a supreme authority over others, then we would also be black magicians. And offering you freedom from black magic in exchange for just another kind of black magic would be a complete nonsense. So if you disagree or don't resonate with any part of this information or with all this information in its entirety, it's no problem at all. Because in all of our interactions, you always are a top priority, number one, the most important person for your own self. And our foundational message in all of our video is always put yourself first. Always put yourself first. Live according to your own will, as your will is the same as what we call the infinite's will. There's no separation between you and the infinite, which is your infinite potential. How do you know what you're supposed to do at any moment? You access a certain piece of your infinite potential, which is relevant to your life now. You perceive it as an inner impulse of inspiration. According to Almin, the voice of the infinite within us is the voice of our inspiration. It's your inner knowing. When we do what we are genuinely inspired to do, then we embody what Almin calls infinite intent. If you do something against your will, against your inspiration, just because we heard some voice from the spirit realms that tells us what to do instead, or we follow someone else's will or someone else's guidance, whenever we act against ourselves, against our own will, against our own inspiration, then we are out of alignment with our infinite selves. Some of us still ask ourselves a question, whether it's my will or the infinite's will. The answer is, if it's what you feel inspired to do, then it's the infinite's will. Your will is the infinite's will. But if we hypothetically do something soullessly and mechanically, and we're not in touch with our own inner knowing and understanding why we do what we do, there's a feeling as if we become a sort of mechanical robots that automatically act in response to someone else's influence or command. For example, here's one of the days of our life, and we know exactly how we are going to spend it, what we are going to do. Everything is planned, everything is scheduled, and there's already a sense of accomplishment burning within us with a fire of joy, even before we have done all of that. But suddenly someone called or texted us and asked us for a favor, to do something for them that's not in our today's plans. And suddenly there's a feeling that they're literally overpowering us. And we didn't even notice when exactly we lost touch with ourselves and we're already under their guidance and influence. Some people say as if they fell asleep while being awake. And now whatever they're doing as if it's not them. It's as if someone plugged them into some sort of remote control, and by the end of the day, when they're done with someone else's agenda, as if they woke up from the dream, a hypnosis session is over, and to their utmost disappointment, they realize that they have not done even one thing out of what was initially planned or scheduled. And they wonder why and how it could happen, why sometimes people forget about themselves when someone contacts them, and then they don't have any idea how it could have happened, that they don't even remember when and how exactly they found themselves under someone else's plans and schedules. They literally lost touch with their own selves and became someone else's biological tool, like a zombie. It's essentially important to be prepared to say firm no and to forget about politeness when someone tries to claim their ownership over our lives. But they'll get offended. So what? But they'll no longer want to be my friends. So what? Why do we need such so-called friends that don't respect us and don't respect our personal time and personal space? In many cases, those people can manage their stuff by themselves without our participation. Perhaps they just want to use us as a sort of or a source of entertainment, but we are not someone else's entertainment. Our life force energy is too precious to waste it in this way. They really want your energy, but you need your energy, 100% of it. You need it to maintain your optimal health level, your willpower, intellectual power, and your productivity. We don't want to waste our energy to those so-called friends and then to have health issues or accident proneness or to lose credit cards, car keys, valuables, and the like. All those things are direct indicators of the energy loss. And it will never happen if you always put yourself and your life first. And only then your spouses, your parents, children, friends, partners, whomever else, they're all in the second place. If this is your permanent attitude, then you are totally immune to the destructive force of the arts of darkness. Now let's talk about something very important for us to be aware of. One of the tactics of recruitment into the black magic communities is an artificially engineered personality change. There's a cult, a sect in Russia that was on the peak of its popularity in the last decade, especially in the years 2011, 2012, when much of the Russian New Age community expected the so-called end of the world. There was a lot of rumors around the year 2012 at that time. So those dark practitioners from some European countries, I don't want to mention any particular country, any particular organization here. So they masterfully seized this opportunity to harvest enormous amounts of money, selling their mind projections to emotionally unstable and insecure people, the type of people that easily follow strong personalities who position themselves as prophets, ascended masters in the flesh, and all kinds of spiritual leaders or channelers of the etheric masters. And they were really collecting enormous harvest of energy. And of course, it's crystallized for money. As hundreds of thousands of people felt pain of economical and political turbulence and looked for the answers beyond their everyday life reality. So those mind controllers exploited people's weaknesses and unstable economical and political situation in particular countries for their personal gain. And those operators definitely have some experience in the area of the dark psychology, the art of manipulation and mind control that work in close cooperation with the spirit realms, of course. In our Black Magic Exposed series, we share with you some of the key methods of the practitioners of darkness. And now you'll easily recognize them if your path will accidentally cross with those dark operators. We will give you more of those cases in this video. Key number one, they tend to provoke strong emotions out of the people. Positive or negative, it doesn't really matter. That's why keeping an emotional equilibrium is vitally important. Otherwise, we will be easily trapped by those dark networks. They can get a hold of only those whom they were able to get emotional. Like, for example, I personally was in a situation when I was asked a question and answered it to the best of my understanding, and the other party responded with an extremely strong emotion. And on the top of the very strong emotions, the words were spoken to me that supposedly I was not telling the truth, that I'm a liar, I speak a lie. The most important thing here was that I perfectly knew that I spoke the truth. And I'm non-emotional, and I know myself better than other people know me. I will never accept other people's stories about myself because I don't need them. We are the best experts of our own self-knowledge and self-awareness, and we don't need an external assistance in this area. But some people easily lose their inner balance when someone else starts to accuse them in something evil that they never committed. And the weak, inexperienced people usually start to try to justify themselves and to try to prove the opposite. But a dark manipulator is not supposed to listen to them according to this method. And he must repeat over and over and over again with stronger And even more stronger emotion, you're a liar, you're a liar, you're lying. And guess what happens next with an immature, inexperienced, weak-willed person? He begins to shake, yell, and cry. And this is what the manipulator and dark spirit realms, and actually all spirit realms are dark, by the way. This is exactly what they wanted. This was their goal, to make a person emotionally unstable. And when a person loses emotional self-control, he loses his life force completely. And now he's totally owned by a dark operator. A dark operator is not supposed to be emotional in this process, even if he shouts and yells at the top of his lungs. He can do it with no emotion. He just needs to say it loud and strong enough. You're a liar, liar, liar. It's just, like, for example, it might be something else, some other accusations, but with no emotions. He knows something, but unfortunately, only half of the truth. He doesn't want to lose his life force, although he will eventually lose it to the spirit realms anyway. And he may even think that he's powerful, that he operates by his own power. But really, no black magician has his own power. They operate by the power received from the spirit realms. Every black magician is being used by the higher spirit realms of darkness to bring them food, physical life force, energy of his followers, and eventually there will be his turn to become their food. There is no such thing as a win-win situation in a black magic system. Practitioners and their victims are both victims. Also, in this particular Russian cult, they implemented technique of an artificially engineered personality change. If to explain it briefly, for example, there was one of the followers, let's call him Alexei, a popular Russian name. And those supposedly channelers of the ascended masters spoke to Alexei, to that sincere fellow, a genuine truth seeker. You are really not Alexei. Your real name is Ugubu Gudugu. And you're really not from the earth. You were born on the planet Dugubugu. And your earthly parents are really not your parents. Your true cosmic parents. Your cosmic father is Bugu Wugu, and your cosmic mother is Ubudu Budu Bugu. And the guy is now crying. Oh, finally, he found his true cosmic family. He found his true cosmic home. He reunited with his true parents, and he is crying, and tears streaming from his eyes. And this is exactly what the forces of darkness waited for. Tears streaming from his eyes. Emotional leakage. Now the guy is totally powerless, and they can take him and do whatever they want to do with him, and with his wallet and bank account, of course. Now he's going to attend to all their workshops to learn how to live a life of Ugubu Gudugu. He must forget his old name, and he must forget his parents. He comes back home and tells them, "You're not my parents. I just met a great ascended master, and he reunited me with my true parents. I'm not your son. I'm a cosmic child, a star seed." And there's no end to those stories. And this was a parent organization, and they reproduced themselves into many similar organizations. In my country, the same stuff. Many of them are now patients of psychiatric hospitals. Some of them committed suicide. And some of them are homeless and jobless, dissociated sociopaths, and most of them risk to never come back into their true self-awareness. Now, if they're still physically alive, they can only function as the biological batteries that energize the spirit realms, and also the earthly black magicians that are still alive, whom they may still consider as their gurus, and they keep going to their workshops to give them all their life force, and of course, including its crystallized form, money. My beloved friends, this series of videos were inspired by Almin's tablets of fire messages that revealed the ultimate reason for the planetary cataclysms that took the lives of billions and billions of people. And the reason always was the black magic. Now we are equipped with all necessary information to avert that. And we know how to do that. We are operators of the most powerful magic in the cosmos, a proxy magic, the highest magic of the sacred government by self-government. By proxy, we examine our own selves. If there are any areas in our lives where we might be involved into the deadly black magic at one or more of its various levels, relationships, codependent relationships is a black magic. Are we involved in codependent relationships? Do we still consider anyone as our spiritual authority or a guru? Do we still consider ourselves as followers of someone whom we perceive as our highest power and authority? Do we make our own decisions? Or we wait for some spiritual guidance or confirmation from the spirit realms, from who knows whom, before we move a finger? There's a lot of discussion around the surface mind. Are my decisions coming from my true self or my surface mind? A surface mind is really our useful tool. It's absolutely true that it can't produce and create its own information. It can only work with information accessed by it, either from our own true selves, which is our independent decision-making processes, or from other sources of information, other sources of influence, and other sources of decision-making, when we allow someone else, physical or non-physical, to make our decisions. If you imagine a grand piano in your house, let's call it a surface mind, and you're an outstanding professional musician, a pianist, and if you play your piano, then everyone can hear great masterpieces of music. But if you accidentally allow someone else who never played piano before to try to play your piano, the same room, the same piano, the same brain, the same mind, but now it's not music at all. It's chaotic, annoying sounds of random notes. This is what happened when you let others use your mind, what you call your surface mind. And then naturally our surface mind starts working against us. It happens every time when we try to copy someone else, to follow someone else, and to imitate someone else. But our surface, logical mind always works for you as your extremely great, extremely powerful problem-solving tool. It's your most advanced quantum computer that interprets the depths and complexities of your infinite inner knowing in a nanosecond, finds optimal solutions with a speed beyond the speed of light, but only if it's owned and used by you and by you only. That's why we stalk ourselves. We are always vigilant. We always watch every second if our mind is still our mind, not someone else's. We watch our every word. We want to make sure that we speak only our own words. We don't quote anyone else. We don't copy anyone else. We don't imitate anyone else. We think only our own thoughts, speak only our own words, and make only our own decisions. If we follow only our own selves and our own decisions, then we stand in our own personal power. If someone hears voices in their heads or sometimes out of the thin air in their living rooms, those things happen, and does what those voices tell him to do, or seeks guidance from some prophet or a psychic, uh, or can't make any independent personal decision without his astrologer or guru, then he is a biological battery, a zombie, an energy source for the dark spirit realms. And his final destination is a slaughterhouse. This is the end of the Black Magic Exposed series. Please always feel free to ask us any questions. Stand strong in your absolute power. You're the Most High, the only author, first cause, and creator of your life. You're your own highest power, and there's no power higher than you. Talk to you soon.